New Mexican style architecture is very unique, and in this video I want to go through the three main architectural styles: Pueblo, Territorial, and Northern New Mexico. I also want to talk about what those have been morphed into, like Mediterranean and New Mexican farmhouses over the last 20 years. We're not going to get much into Victorian, mid-century modern, or ranch styles, which are prominent in Albuquerque. We really want to talk about these main ones that make New Mexican architecture unique. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the beginnings of Pueblo style. The Pueblos back in the day used whatever elements they could around them to create structures, particularly after they discovered agriculture and started implementing that into their lives. They needed spaces where they could gather and protect themselves from the elements and other Pueblos attacking. And before that, they were nomadic. And so the advent of agriculture really shaped the architecture that we have now today. Adobe, which was formed from dirt, clay, essentially they made mud, put some hay and straw in it to add a little structural integrity, and then they made these bricks that they stacked up and then covered with mud to protect from the weather. When the Spanish came in, they taught them to sun dry the adobes so that they would be a little bit more structurally sound over time. And nowadays, you see the adobes protected by stucco. Stucco is sort of a concrete material that is much more durable and helps defend against nature compared to just a mudding material. Also used twigs and branches, which we now call latillas, to support the ceiling system. And then under that, they had these big logs or vigas that were from the Jemez Mountains or other surrounding areas as close to them as possible. And these big vigas ran the span or the lengths of the roof, and then the latillas went the other way to support the dirt or clay roof above it. They also typically had small window openings, small doors, really wanted to keep the weather and all of the intruders out. Then when the Spanish conquistadors started to come in, they brought elements that would improve the Pueblo's life within their homes. Now obviously there wasn't an improvement in their life overall due to disease and the conquistadors taking over areas. But within the homes, they brought in the idea of a kiva fireplace in the corner of rooms to keep the house warm, and new architectural elements like arched windows, arched doorways, and then the railroad brought in modern technologies like windows. Pueblo-style homes started to open up and be more welcoming to outsiders and to nature in general, right? So now you have this Santa Fe-style architecture with these huge windows that allow you to see the vast landscapes. Have these portals or porches that are not just in the courtyard of the home, but at the front of the home or the back of the home to enjoy the outdoor spaces in a covered or shaded area. Now, all of these really influenced by John Gamim in the 20s and 30s, and that's really created this Santa Fe style architecture. This style wasn't really around, but it was a morph of Pueblo, and then John Gamim saying, let's open these up. Let's create these massive window spaces, these large indoor elements to enjoy time with family and friends or to host events. And John Gamim really is, in my opinion, the creator of what we call Santa Fe style architecture now. Our roofing materials have grown from clay or mud to TPO is a sort of ponding material that they put underneath ponds. It's plastic and it is meant to last about 30 years. There's also tar and gravel roofs. The gravel is meant to protect the tar, and those typically last 20 to 25 years. And then we have a rolled roofing or torch down roofing material, which it lasts 10 to 15 years and is a little more exposed to the elements. Building adobe nowadays is a lot more expensive than it was before, and so we see a lot of 2x6 construction. We see some concrete construction. Now what architects and builders do is they cover the property with stucco and they round or bullnose the stucco corners to make it look like an adobe element is behind. And this rounding really keeps with the Pueblo style architecture. Adobe walls are preferred and more expensive because they are so well insulated. These blocks typically are this thick, And so that keeps out the warm and the cold. Pueblo also has morphed over time into a new contemporary style. This contemporary style has more clean lined walls. So instead of the bullnose, we have squared corners, squared edges that really look uniform and distinct. Think of the mid-century or modern architectural style with Pueblo elements. This has become prominent all over Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Territorial style is known for the brick elements at the top of the roofline, for large front portals, for milled window casings that really add different moldings and textures, typically in the shape of a triangle or a pyramid at the top. Inside the home, instead of being around a courtyard, typically there is one hallway or main grand entrance, and then the rest of it is sort of in a square or uniform shape, with the middle being the main living space. The roofs in northern New Mexico get caved in when snow fell, and so a pitched roof element became popular and provided more safety and less maintenance. Northern New Mexico homes still have the elements of Territorial and Pueblo inside. They typically will have a front portal, they'll have vigas and latillas inside, kiva fireplaces, and so you get the finishes of a typical Pueblo or Territorial, but you have the pitched roof, something that you don't have to worry about as much, particularly nowadays as we have metal roofs, which are essentially supposed to last 30 to 50 years. The New Mexico style has become popular here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the high-end neighborhoods for new construction. We see it being mixed with the farmhouse style. So you get white stucco walls, you get pitched black metal roofs to add that contrast, these big, huge windows to allow natural light to come in. You have oak flooring and wood finishes inside, and it's really morphed a little bit and become a mix of that Chip and Joanna fixer-upper style and New Mexican / Northern New Mexican style. Also seen Pueblo style being mixed with Spanish or Mediterranean style. We don't see a lot of white stucco in the Mediterranean style here, but we see more of the arch elements. We see more dark wood inside the house with the cabinetry, with the door finishes, and it's really created these spaces where it's very moody inside. And then when you go outside, you get to enjoy the sun. And this really was popular between 2000 and 2010. Typically, we see more modern or contemporary style homes that mix all of these elements. I don't really think we have a grasp on what exactly those styles are, but it's certainly contemporary and it's a mix of all of the other influences in New Mexico. I really loved making this video, going through these architectural features. I'm sure I missed some things, I'm sure I missed some finishes, but I hope it was enjoyable for you as well. Stay tuned as we make more videos about real estate in New Mexico. Take care.